It's one of those moments where you look back in time and you wish you had this opportunity. Let me say a big thank you to BBM and to the Board of Trustees. Thank you for supporting us. Well, my assignment is quite a tough one, because when she gave me this topic and we talked about branding yourself, it took me on a journey. I started by looking at myself as this small Calabar boy. And these stereotypes are real, but you know what? They are right, because once upon a time we were servants, but today we are servant leaders. And the big difference is understanding where you're going. If you don't understand where you're going, people are going to chuck you off. And because he has kept me, I've come all the way from Ikorakpene to Lagos, and proudly had the privilege to be the first local MD for Samsung. When you read my profile now, that profile is the past. The profile I'm beating for the next 10 years starts now. Because many of you get to a certain space and you dwell. I don't dwell, I keep moving. Because my best days are ahead. And so, I want you to come with me on this journey. I hope by the time we finish, some of you will understand that branding is not just a label. Where I come from, it's either you're a brand or you're not. So there's something in front of you. If you take away the wrap around it, anything can take it. But I'll tell you something. The content. It's not the container that makes the content. No. The content is what gives value. The container embellishes it. Many of you are sitting as containers. If you don't have a content, then there's no value. There's no exchange. Absolutely nothing. You can wear the best dresses, adorn yourself, go on Instagram, do what. That's not branding. You're just an empty vessel making the most sound. Branding, it's not just about you. It's about your business. It's about your family. It's about your career. It's about a legacy. The big question I'm asking you, what do you want to be remembered for? My father wanted me to be a career civil servant. I had a crystal clear picture of where I wanted to be. I knew that I needed to do something different. I decided on my own to fail physics. I'm not asking you to do it. Because if I had passed those things, my parents would have forced me into a profession I didn't want. Is building a legacy important to you? You know, the fundamentals are lacking. When you want to build a legacy, it means that you must have a legacy-driven life. That's the brand that would outlive you. See, you can go to anywhere. I left Cadbury 2010, 13 years ago as commercial director. Can you 10 years from now pick up your phone and say to somebody, and they'll say, consider it done? I'll say, it's all about positioning. See that picture? It's an aircraft. Every one of you, you're roving. You're the pilot in that plane. There's a strip where you need to land that craft. If you don't have the right positioning, you're done. In marketing, it starts with the positioning. I was brand manager for Coca-Cola. When Uncle Benga put up his slide about SWOT, I said at Coke, sir, we never bothered about the W because it was internal. We were looking at SWOT. It was SOT. We'll list all the weaknesses and we'll start dealing with it. The minute you deal with it, it becomes an opportunity that enhances the caliber of the results you get. And that was the mindset we operated in. At 33, I had the privilege of managing 39 countries in Africa for Coca-Cola. But one thing was here, was the positioning statement. How are you positioned? What is positioning? It is the place you want the end user to think and feel about your brand. Many youths today just sit back and they say, don't understand us. It takes a man or woman that wears a cap to own a city. When you are a city, you are standing. Nothing shakes you. You are a city, and when you wear the cap, you cap a city. Confidence, it's called executive presence. Individuals are brand name personalities. There's a brand called me. There is only one ID Enang. There can't be two. My surname became the place I had been. Why? Because of legacy. So if you want to build your brand, go back to wherever you've been and ask your name. If they don't remember you, you have to be deliberate. And that's why positioning is key. Positioning is everything. Even in the personal life, what is the value that is at stake? It's a measure of exchange. A marketing man, if nobody walks into your store in 3 hours, what are you selling? A few years back, a particular global organization invited me to London. They gave me a brief. I thought they were giving me a brief to come and help them with their commercial team. And so I decided one day, I was in Okeari. I covered about 4 different channels, one full day. When I got to London, sat with the global chief. There were about 8 of them from 8 o'clock. You guys are wasting money in Nigeria. And I showed them why. Because I understand the terrain. I'm showing you what you're pumping money into that you're wasting. You know why? I showed them artifacts. Why they cannot sell their product. It's because you don't understand the end, the customer. If you don't have an interaction, your brand cannot exist. Because there's a process. There's a process for you to become the brand. Starts with self-awareness. Who are you? Ask yourself, who am I? Many of you don't know. You are living some other person's life. You are living some other man's dream. Your business idea is the one your mother gave to you. When I was being interviewed by the media, they asked me, what should young people do? I said they should break their mental models. I came back to the same NYSC. I applied to have a space. We called it the Hive, Hive. And I was selling pepper soup, only selling fried rice. It's called niche marketing. I stayed there. And I took my friend, we were partners. I got capital from my mother, 500 naira. We used to set it up. The first day, second day, third day, I suddenly realized that something was not coming in. We're shacking our profit. After the end of the day, boys will sit down. That was my profit going. By day 4, that was how I stopped drinking. Many of you are eating through your profit and you are guancing your seed. Communication skills. You can't be a brand if you can't stand, if you can't speak. I'm an introvert. Confidence building. I can't talk about coaching and mentoring. It's been said. But many of you don't even understand that you need a coach. But you're following the wrong coaches because they are not even a train. Many of you are following the wrong coaches. They are not even a train. They don't know where they are going. They are just following. Whether on Instagram, on Twitter, or whatever. If only they show you the true self, many of you wouldn't follow. I'm being honest with you. It was that business in the camp made me go to Allstate Trust Bank to ask for a loan of 10,000 naira. That was a rude awakening for me in the world of business. If you don't have a coach or a mentor, someone that has gone through those steps, stop following the wrong people. You think they are mentoring you, they are sending you to a ditch. Part of building this brand is relationship. I'm here because of relationship. There's return on relationship. It's bigger than return on investment. Because the biggest investment honestly, you can't see it. The quality of the fruit can never resemble the seed. It's seed. There's a time before the harvest. And there's emotional intelligence. Now, people open doors for you. You won't believe you can meet anybody. But many of you, you do what? You take people for granted. Young people are so rude and they are crude. Let me tell you an example. Start with this. Go to any bank. Watch from afar. Watch the ATM. Watch the security. Watch the young people that will come there. None of them, if out of 10, maybe 1, will greet. The rest will just go past. How? I've tried it twice. Good morning. Please, sir, where can I? As simple as that, you can open a door. But many of you lock yourselves out because you think you're a brand. If you come like me from Ikodokpene, you come to Lagos, See, Lagos boys are smart. The West, they are smart. You can't come here and be speaking English. Say, so I get it into a polished space and I can stand. That's what it means to be a brand. Not all of this. But underneath, you need emotional intelligence. S.M.I.L.E is helping you build leadership skills. Stakeholder relationship management. If you want to have business, if you want to go into business, you must know that there are stakeholders. You need a stakeholder map. Put yourself in that center. Draw that circle. Like the spoke of a bicycle. So let me give you my famous analogy. Who and who will be there to help you birth this idea? They are the ones you put at the first circle. Because every circle has appendages. As you stretch it, you meet others. And before you know it, you have a whole cycle of influence that just started from one man, you. So be kind, be knowledgeable, don't be crude. Because the man you're meeting may just be the man that will save you in the days to come. But I can tell you, different people are watching. They are looking at you. You think they're not seeing you. They are seeing you. Remember, we're talking about branding yourself. You have to be deliberate. There's a strategy to branding yourself. Your personal branding, your business starts with a positioning. What do you want people to think of you? There must be a strategy. Egmont talked about where you are, where you want to be. The how is the strategy. When you get that sorted, it comes with planning. Many of you need to sit down and plan your lives. The first plan you need is financial planning, which many of us miss the boat with. Execution is the biggest piece. Very many young people come for interviews. Many times I have to sit down and interview. People can't even tell you who they are. But the easiest way, I'll teach you. Storytelling. Anytime you go in for a pitch, think about it as his story. Tell a story that will make you do through things. Always remember, if you're going for an interview, think about what I'm about to give to you. The stars. S-T-A-R. The S, situation. The T is a task. The A is the action you took. And the R is a result. Nobody rewards effort. They reward results. So the more you tell me your story and I'm counting the stars, that's the guy I want. Because I've counted 5 stars. Stars. Storytelling. You need to learn how to tell stories. Your story. It's not the CV. Many of you copy and paste CV. Go and write your own. I want to switch you into what will make you excellent personal brand. Even if you want ever to have a sense of what it takes, this has nothing to do with money. It's called executive presence. It's a combination of qualities and behaviors that make a person appear confident, credible, and influential in a professional setting. Every one of you start wearing the garb of executive presence. You don't need to be an executive. It's a presence. And people with strong executive presence are seen as charismatic. They are seen as they articulate and they're well poised, they're confident. And that's why when you look at executive presence, it will hit you because somebody has 7 skills. Number 1, somebody that clarify what needs to be done. Tick. Number 2, you need to know how to negotiate for success. Tick. You need to know how to control your own workload. Tick. You need to know and have business awareness. Tick. You need to understand yourself and others. Tick. In the French word, that one is called nous, N-O-U-S. It means being intelligent. It means managing your own learning, continuous learning. And finally, there's a difference between a job and a career. But in the end, if you want to have executive presence, you need gravitas, you need communication, and you need appearance. Those 3. Gravitas is about 70%. What is gravitas? Your Google is your friend. Go look for it. But there are 2 things that deliver executive presence: impact and presence. Imagine running into executive director of Wema Bank. What happens? Can't even recall. No impact. Because you never brought about influence. Your competence in show is a skill. you didn't connect and your confidence was waning. And the man will not remember. But just one tiny person makes an impact. And he says, I want that guy. If you want a good ROR, return on relationship, don't joke with any of these characters. The first one, which you may consider the lowest, is a character that has a low authority and low influence. We pass them every day, like the security guys. You guys pass those guys. They are a doyen of information. They're called what? Lali. Another character, high authority, low influence. When you see a man that has stayed in a company for 20 years, and all of a sudden, they give him one nice office, very big office. You get the authority to say, manager special duties. There are people like that in the organization who, like Chelsea, would have a bad season. And they could just go this way. Don't join the crowd to mock them. Life happens. They can come back. It's a Harley. Once upon a time, Harley. You now have another character called those that have low authority but very high influence. Like the PAs. Don't joke with them. Drivers are lallies. Security, lallies. PAs are very powerful. Finally, the Hahi. These are the MDs. High authority, high influence. But I want to summarize these three characters to tell you, beyond these guys, there's always a grand Hahi. There's always a group. There's always a group CEO. The group CEO will not take you in if the Hahi does not even make you peep. So, what do you need to cut the friendship of a Hahi? It's just a text message. Happy anniversary, sir. You don't need load. There are 3 A's. There are acquaintances, allies, and what? Advocates. Many of you waste your time with acquaintances. You don't build allies. And you don't have advocates. Acquaintances are your friends. They are like you. They're not going anywhere. They can't add value. But they're the ones that stress you the most. But allies are the ones that stay with you in ranking. There's no senior, there's no junior. France, USA, allies. But advocates are the ones that will say, that is my beloved son, listen to him. Look at your pool. Follow this power grid and understand how you build your business. Because that's where the power lies with your brand. If you manage that power grid well, your personal brand, your business brand, any brand, you'll just find yourself floating. You will not be a flotsam and jetsam. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, BBM. Thank you.